So hello, and this is the third question in part one, question one of the. And welcome once again to the benefits management section on question one, and this is part C, the last part in this question on benefits management for the practitioner review for managing successful programs. So here we have the assertion, reason, style question. So we'll go through a quick review of this, as this is the first time we come across this now through the review part. So firstly, the point here is to look at the statements in the assertion columns and the reason columns individually and decide if they're true or false statements. Now the assertions related to the information in the question box in bold, which would either be the scenario and or additional information. In this case it's both, or just some information provided in the box that's in bold. So there's always going to be something in bold up there one way or another, because that's what we're basing the assertion statements on. Now the reasons part are purely about MSP application, so that's why we do these independently. First of all, once we decided true false statements all the way down both columns, looking at each statement independent of anything else, then any pair that has a false in one or both sides will be answered either C, D, or E. So we only have to have an extra bit of work to do if they are both true, and that extra review is to decide whether the reason directly explains the assertion and explains, and therefore we put the letter A, or even though it's a true statement, it's got nothing to do with the assertion statement, and therefore we would put the letter B. Right. So let's go and have a look at the additional information in this case, because the scenario we've already started to look at a few times. So in this case we have question one, benefits management, additional information, and here we can see extracts from the benefits management strategy which may contain errors. Now note two things. When we have a document of this size, style, or something in here that says true statements, it means the information in there, even though it may not be in the right place or the right document, you cannot edit what is there anyway to change it if it's true statements. All you can do is move it or move it out completely. So move it within the document or move it out of the document, or obviously if it's good, stay where it is. Now when there's a statement that may contain errors, that means you are then in a position to edit what is there already. You cannot do that with true statements. Here you can edit what is there already. So if a statement doesn't read correctly, or something is missing, or you need to reword it, then obviously that's what you're able to do. Alright, so what we will do is have a look at the question and then decide what the answers are. So I suggest you keep open the additional information. I won't go back referring to every question because we'll be hopping back on the screens. So what I'll do is I'll read it out. If you have the copy open in front of you while we're going through the review, it will help you. So you might hear a bit of paper in the background. So first one, assertion. An appropriate entry for A would be the business area, facilities of the property and accommodation. So remember, the whole point of this is that under that particular section, it is important to trap the different facilities and areas that would be arranging or earning any benefit, could be benefiting, from any changes put in place. In this case, you can see the scope explanation, which areas of business will be covered by the management. So we need to define in there what areas will be covered. Right, and therefore the business areas and facilities will be there because they will be benefiting from the change of layout and the way the business works. So that would be an appropriate entry. So the answer there would be true. Right, so let's go back and look at the other statement here. 2. It would not be appropriate for entry fee to state in the management reports would be produced per shop or per region. Well, when you look at that, you will see actually that it is missing, so we could edit that to add that information in there, because it would help to have a bit more specific detail about where we expect to do the reviews. Right, so the fact that it says monthly information reports will be produced to show reduced staff turnover it would be much more appropriate to put something in there about where we expect that turnover to be in the shops or per region. So that's false. Entry 4 should include a requirement to measure current levels of staffing. Well, that is correct too, because in the strategy we need to have that information about how we're going to do the measurements in this particular case, right? So we need to have that information there to help us do that. So this is true. Without it, we can't do much work anyway. So we need to define that particular area, right? So that's a true statement, right? Number 4, the relevant BCM's business change manager should work with the shop managers to ensure the agreed target described in 4 is realised. Well, remember, the business change managers are representative of those areas where we're transitioning this change into, certainly through the capabilities, and therefore they would be best placed to work out what that target should be for each of the different groups and their areas they represent. So that is a true statement, right? Now, number 5, add a representative from the shops to entry 5. So we notice that that's just got the program manager and the SRO. Now, obviously, the shops are going to be part of this because it says the review and assessment process for measuring benefits realization, covering who will be involved and how when the reviews will be carried out. Well, participants need to have people representing from the areas that are going to be benefiting because they can give the best feedback. Right, so that would be a true statement as well. And finally, 6, add a benefit review to entry 6 to assess the success of the temporary training centre at the time of its opening. Well, at the time of its opening, we're not going to be able to establish whether there's been any benefit going on at that point. We can't assess anything because it's just opened. So that's not a practical statement. If it's said after 3 months or 6 months, that'll be different. But it doesn't state that here, so that is not an appropriate entry, so that's a false statement. All right. So let's have a look at the reasons, and look at reasons for MSP purely. Okay. The benefits realization plan should detail when each benefit will be realized with appropriate review milestones. Well, this is absolutely true. This is what the benefits plan is about. Is when do we expect the benefits to be realized, and when do we have milestones to be able to review those benefits after a period of time. Because remember, part of this is to see how it's working as we go through the program, to see if the capabilities are realizing the benefits we expect. So we need to be able to do that. So that's a true statement. The management techniques to be used to assess benefits should be documented in the realization plan. Well, remember, measurement techniques, they're not in the realization plan. They're contained in the business management benefits management strategy. So that is a false statement. Third, checking against a baseline measure of performance is appropriate where a capability is is changed. Right. Well, this is very true. We can't measure how the capabilities worked and the benefits realized from that until we put a baseline at the beginning. So we need to understand where we are right now, or where we were before we started the change, and then once we've made the change, markers to look at how we've made the change against and how the benefits are being realized against the original state. Right. So we need to have that in place. So that is true. 4, business change managers should develop the benefits management strategy on behalf of the program manager. Right. Well, this is not true. The program manager is responsible for producing the management strategy, not the BCMs. The BCMs may have input to it to help them, but it's the PM who has, the program manager in this case, has responsibility of developing it, really on behalf of the senior responsible owner, the SRO in this case, because the SRO will have the overall understanding about when these benefits are coming through and therefore understand how to, the strategy around them. Number 5, a benefit review should include individuals who are able to comment on the outcomes. Well, really, they're the best people to be involved in any review, are those that are actually at the front of where the benefits are being realized and being absorbed in their particular business area. So that's absolutely right. They should be there. Okay, so that's a true statement. Finally, benefits reviews should assess realization of benefits as soon as the capability has been delivered. Well, once again, that's almost as difficult as from the statement of the assertion. Until we've had the capability in place for a while, we're not able to measure any benefits realization from that point and assess how it's working until the capability is being transitioned in for a period of time. And that's when you would put that into the plan, is when that would be the most appropriate time to do it. So, in this case, we have three areas where there are true statements. So first of all, 1, 3, and 5 are both pairs. So 2, you should have E because they're both false. 4, you should have C because the assertion is true and the reason is false. And 6 would be E because they're both false again. So let's again look at just the benefits realization in 1. The realization plan should detail when each benefit is realized. Be supporting the statement, the appropriate entry would be a business areas facilities. All right. Well, that's got absolutely nothing to do with the other one. One's talking about looking at facilities for the entry with that particular area, and this one's talking about milestones, so they're not related. So the answer there is B. 3. So checking baselines, measurement performance, appropriate web capabilities is changed. And the fact that the entry should require measurement to current levels of staffing, well, that's talking about the same thing. Here we've got where it was originally and where the changes are right now. So that reason does support the assertion, and therefore the answer there would be A. And in 5, very similar sort of situation. In this case, we've got individuals able to comment the outputs. That's why add a representative from the shop to entry 5 was true, and therefore that directly explains the reason, directly explains the assertion. Therefore the answer there is also A. And hopefully that just helped you understand a lot more about this case, the benefits realization plan, its contents, and look at the statements and why some of those statements are false or true, and why the answers are the way they are. If you do have any more concerns, then obviously please contact a tutor through the platform, who are more than happy to explain in more detail. Otherwise, have a quick read through the chapter again on benefits management.